Louisiana Attorney General reacts to reports that an Orleans Parish grand jury is investigating her. Sabrina Wilson is live at the state capitol with more on this. Sabrina.
Hey there, Liz. AG Murrill says she hasn't been notified that she's under investigation. And I asked the Attorney General if she's surprised that she may be under investigation and other questions related to the reported grand jury investigation. Now, Murrill brought up the reporting that a grand jury in New Orleans is investigating her. Our sources say the grand jury is probing Murrill for allegedly intimidating New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno, DA Jason Williams, and 5 members of the New Orleans City Council after she sent them a letter. Murrill says she hasn't been contacted by anyone saying she's under investigation for sending letters to the New Orleans officials on May 13th that seemed to threaten their removal from office. Murrill sent the letters in response to the City Council passing resolutions calling for a special election after the legislature signed a new law and the legislature passed a new law and the governor signed it that merged the New Orleans criminal and civil court clerk's offices, which prevented Calvin Duncan from taking office as Orleans Parish criminal court clerk. I asked her about the reported investigation, whether she's surprised, and was her letter appropriate. She says she stands by her actions.
I have no official information about it. I've not been informed about anything. I know exactly what you know. I have no actual direct information on this. So I will continue to follow my protocols, which I always have, to not speak or discuss ongoing grand jury investigations, even if they're not mine.
As a follow-up, do you think it was appropriate to the language you used in the letters that threatened?
Obviously, I stand behind the letters that I sent.
The Louisiana Supreme Court refused to block the new law that merged New Orleans clerk of court's offices. Murrill called the press conference to announce that 21 people had been charged with Medicaid fraud. Reporting live from the state capitol, I'm Sabrina Wilson, Fox 8 Local First.